Politics, cultural exchange, social life and ecological issues. These are only few areas where international organizations implement their projects. They cooperate with public and private partners, and preserving peace for future generation is their principal goal. How do they arrange their work? What role is given to Kazakhstani initiatives? You'll find more on this in Kazakhstan International Vectors. AIESEC is a non-commercial and non-political organization totally managed by students.
AIESEC is really about making people better and for making people understand that they have the potential to do great things.
Octavian August, the founder of the Roman Empire and foster son of Julius Caesar, he had to fight a lot to become the emperor. Indeed, after Caesar's murder, several military leaders aspired to ascend the throne. Political success in early years and good education helped Octavian to become a senator in the age of 19 and later to head the great empire. The year 1429, French soldiers were preparing for the battle for Orleans, which was already captured by Englishmen. The army was headed by 17-year-old Jeanne d'Arc. The victory brought the fame to the young commander. The girl became a kind of a symbol of triumph and inspired soldiers for new exploits. Annually, the 8th of May in France is celebrated as a day dedicated to the Virgin of Orleans. Late 19th century, Spanish army attacked the Philippines. The country started recruiting young people in the army in an urgent manner. In those times, 20-year-old Gregorio del Pilar showed himself as one of the bravest and most courageous soldiers. For his merits, he was made a captain and later lieutenant colonel. After a number of victories over the enemy armies, he was promoted to general. In his native land, he is still considered as a national hero. Several statues and monuments have been erected in honor of the young commander. The history counts many examples when people under 25 became heroes, and whereas earlier the genius of youth was often determined by their military and political achievements, by now it is defined by various prestigious statuses and awards. Thus, since 2007, the Charlemagne Prize is given to young innovators aged between 16 and 30 who made some contribution to Europe's unification. The list of the richest people are also worth mentioning. One of such examples is Forbes magazine. Last year, it published the names of 10 billionaires aged from 24 to 33 years. Psychologists confirm that development of leadership abilities among youth ensures only 50% of success. It is a fact that the number of successful businessmen is growing and they are becoming younger. This is a new tendency which can now be observed all over the world. The increasing activity of young people in entrepreneurship is explained by the creation of special investment programs. Who and how does promote youth, and why does leadership today acquire other forms? The development of leadership abilities is included in the curriculum of many U.S. universities. The so-called leadership philosophy consists of several aspects. They are clear ethic principles, good faith and decency, high personal and professional qualities, the ability to work in a team, self-discipline and persistence.
And Alisher is in shock.
According to political scientists, the exchange with experiences is an important element of development of any state. At the same time, experts note that everything begins from education. The cooperation of countries in this sphere allows adopting and applying in practice new training materials, experience and teaching methods. Shang Yusik agrees with that. He arrived to Kazakhstan from Scotland to teach English.
Here in Kazakhstan, I volunteer at school, International British House, and I work there a few days a week, and I teach from young children, 10-year-olds, all the way up to 70-year-olds, and different levels, so pre-intermediate, intermediate, advanced, as well as I help people prepare for IELTS and TOEFL. So one of the reasons I do this is I really enjoy helping people, especially people to learn.
During 5 years of his work, Sean visited many Central Asian countries, but never stayed there for more than a year. However, Kazakhstan has become the exclusion.
And the reason I stayed was I find the people here very, very warm and welcoming, very hospitable. And I've made a lot of friends here, especially with the local people showing me their houses, welcoming me, showing the culture of Kazakhstan, and it's very different from anything else I've experienced.
Besides the benefits for particular citizens who are working abroad, the countries themselves also get a lot of advantages. Indeed, sharing knowledge and cultures helps to maintain diplomatic relationships between states and furthers the development of innovations and economies. The young generation is especially eager to study the international experience, sociologists say. For that purpose, some states organize special student exchange programs. Such projects allow young people to become more familiar with cultures of other nations and, what is the most important, to obtain new professional knowledge. It is important to note that the majority of students return back home and apply their skills in their native countries. The US takes the leading position in the number of foreign students, about 900,000. It is followed by the United Kingdom, more than 600,000 students. China also is a serious competitor. There, their number reaches almost 400,000 people. The issues of skills and experience exchange are also in competence of international organizations which are involved in the creation of various educative projects. Young people choose themselves what they like more – studying a foreign language or internship in foreign companies. AIESEC is one of the organizations which create such projects. AIESEC is an international youth organization which specializes in the development of leadership qualities and internships for students around the world. It was established in 1948 in Stockholm, Sweden, and covers 126 countries. In order to understand what we are doing, you should know the purpose of creation of this organization. Each organization has a certain conception. Conception is a goal that we want to achieve. And the conception of AIESEC Almaty and AIESEC in general is establishing of peace and helping people to realize their potential. The organization's participants know the goals they have set can only be achieved by making the young generation change its consciousness. That is why the organization is managed exclusively by students. However, it is not the only difference in comparison with other international organizations. Every year we have personnel shifts. For example, after working here as the managing director or vice president, a person cannot hold this position in the next year. Instead of that, he or she has to pursue the career and become the president or go to a foreign country for further training. The organization offers two types of trainings. One of them is an internship in large foreign companies, which annually receive up to 5,000 students from all over the globe. Let's say that you are pursuing a degree of marketing consultant. We can offer you to study marketing science. You can do it abroad, for instance in Europe, and gain experience in some large international company. After returning home, you can find a well-paid job. Another alternative is to change your qualification if you understand that you are not talented for marketing. Internships like these open the way to the successful future, say participants themselves. Specialists have concluded that almost all the students after such an experience find their place on the labor market. Our graduates often hold major posts in companies specializing in economy, logistics and other spheres. The brightest example is the Big Four. AIESEC maintains relationship with its trainees even after their employment. The organization invites them to visit trainings and lections on leadership abilities development for new participants. This project covers 2,500 universities all over the world. It is a one-day project which gathers about 1,000 delegates each year. Its goal is to invite successful people who speak before young people about various leadership skills and tell them impressive stories. The arrangement of trainings in foreign countries has not been the key activity of AIESEC all the time. In the post-war period, the emphasis was mainly put on the unification of youth and making education accessible. Scouting is considered one of the world's first youth movements. As early as in the early 20th century, Robert Baden found drawbacks in the British educational system and decided upon the creation of an experimental camp. Having gathered a group of 20 boys, he started teaching them different skills by means of games. The pupils were explained how to become strong, render emergency medical help, or set up a camp. Later, the man published a book about the scouting laws, which became a real bestseller. Its copies were sold in various parts of the world and inspired other states to create local organizations of this type. Nowadays, scouting is practiced in more than 200 countries. In those times, the organization needed a social factor which would unite young people with one general concept and develop in them skills and qualities necessary for the society, such as self-actualization and the development of the institution of a family. Prague, the year 1947. 17,000 people gathered in the city to take part in the first International Youth Festival. The theme of the event was the popularization of internationalism and battle for peace and people's independence. The event united students from many countries who then started creating youth societies. Thus, 1 year later, 7 students from Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Holland, Norway and Sweden established AIESEC. The main emphasis was put on student exchange. In 1960s, AIESEC already consisted of about 30 or 50 countries, and by the year 2000, more than 100 states became its members. Nowadays, the organization gives much attention to social trainings. Besides traveling abroad, young people are given a chance to get familiar with local cultures, traditions, as well as assist in solving of various problems. Let's imagine that I come to the AIESEC office and say that I would like to go to Portugal and participate in trainings focused on raising the level of literacy among local population. The process will be as follows. We establish contract with the AIESEC office in Portugal and find out a proper project. Then we also assist in obtaining a visa. Social training includes one more project called International Children's Camp Sunshine. Since the establishment 3 years ago, it has united almost 500,000 of children from 50 states. This event is being organized several times a year in a number of countries. The essential part of the project is that every evening students from Europe and Asia visit lections and trainings. There are practical and theoretical trainings. Everybody communicates in English. And for children from poor families who are unable to visit the camp, there is a separate project called Shine Bright. Volunteers from other countries come to us and work with children from boarding schools. They tell them about different countries and so on, and the fact that somebody from abroad visits these children and is ready to spend some time with them makes them feel very happy. Avoiding military conflicts, creating a friendly and peaceful society, and developing the potential of each youngster – these are the principal challenges for the organization. What is the global task for AIESEC? We know that the situation in the world is now unstable and uneasy, and the organization's strategy is to establish a lasting peace all over the world. We achieve it by means of cultural exchange and improving the literacy rate. We cultivate tolerance in students and young specialists who come to us and then go for training. Still, besides global prospects, the organization also has national plans. Thus, the project Art of Environment is to be realized in Kazakhstan this year. Along with international trainings, it is also focused on making the country more attractive for tourists. Art of Environment means raising the cultural brand of Kazakhstan as of the entire country. We demonstrate our environment to trainees who visit us. They are journalists and they improve the image of our country by doing photographs, taking interviews and studying problems and opportunities of Kazakhstan. Currently, more than 70,000 students are involved in AIESEC activities. The number of new participants from all over the world is growing from year to year. A 26-year-old girl from New York was registered in the Guinness Book of Records as the world's youngest professor. At the age of 10, Alia Sabur graduated from school and entered the university. When she turned 17, she took her PhD in Material and Engineering Sciences. 2 years later, she became a teacher in the University of Seoul. Presently, she is involved in medical researches and develops a diabetes patient assistance project. Besides her scientific success, the girl has a Taekwondo black belt and plays the clarinet on the professional level.